Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
I want to wake up feeling beautiful. I want to wake up with the sunlight in my eyes and your arms surrounding me. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. That's how I want to be. I want to wake up with a song in my heart. I want to wake up with a song in my heart and the joy in my eyes. I want to wake up feeling beautiful. I want to wake up, you and me are the perfect match that could ever be. Wake up feeling beautiful. I want to wake up feeling beautiful.
Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, and this is Coffee Break Live, and I am your host, Senabella. I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad that you have decided to join me. Welcome into the room, and let's get ready for what will be a surprising day. And it's already started, as Cece has decided to join us, and I am not going to be fighting with her this morning about where she lands. I'm going to let her have her screen time. So everybody say hi to Cece the cat. Anyway, I was hoping that today we would have a show with this beautiful young sister by the name of Olivia Franklin, but it seems that some things have gone awry. But before I get into anything that changes anything except anyone's disappointment, for anyone to be disappointed by not having her here, I want to take a sip of beautiful peach tea that I have in my cup and just keep on going. I believe in pivoting. In fact, I come from a business where if you can't pivot, you can't do anything. So here I am today, this morning, and I am happy to be here with you, and I am ready to move on. I actually want to say something about Olivia today because, I think though she may not be present, it's important to at least mention her and talk about her. So Olivia Franklin is actually a licensed social worker. She's an event curator, a creative workshop curator, and a founder of the Southside Now, while she's not here this morning, I'm not going to count her out. I'm going to say that she may be late, that she may have had some internet problems, but I know one thing's for certain: not here today does not mean she will not be here tomorrow. So get ready to meet Olivia Franklin in the near future, even if it's in the near future of this morning. And so I thought in my pivoting, and let me just stop a little, because I guess I'm so interested in just moving forward and creating what I now know will be the basis of the show, that I haven't done something that I think is important. I want to go ahead and say good morning to people and to those who are here in the room. Hey, Zelda Robinson, enjoying your show with a cup of African rooibos? How do you say that? Rooibos tea. All right, Zelda, hey. Yeah, it's nothing like having some tea in the morning as well as coffee, And I'm going to say, of course, good morning to JJ. Hey, JJ, did you get my inbox? Let me know what you think. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page, because I would have had JJ in the room first this morning. But it seems that she's always first. So let's get into it. And let's say, what is Senabella going to talk about today, since she's not here with Olivia? Well, this past Sunday, I decided to put up a post, and the post was a question to people, and it asked, why do you support a Black-owned business or not? I did this on a Sunday evening, and I had no idea who would respond to it, how people might show interest. And several things were fielded from this that I'm able to share with you today. And I think it's a good place to start. Some things are meant to be. And I think that because this particular question fielded so many responses from people from different groups that I shared it in, I thought that I'd share it with you. And what I'm looking forward to is you sharing with me your thoughts about it as well. Like, ask yourself the question, why do you support a Black-owned business or not? And you know, on one site, and I won't call out the name of the group, but one group was agitated that I even asked the question and said that it was stupid. And I said, well, what may appear to be stupid may also end up becoming something that's worthwhile. So if anyone here thinks that they have a comment, please do so. So that the comments started, and only one or two in this particular group came out in a positive way. But I was really happy to engage with people who thought that it was stupid and didn't really think that it should be asked. And I'm not going to even, try to discuss it from a point or a position of whether what gender it was or I'm not even going to discuss it from the place of, say, color, gender, what section of people in the economy, whether they were high end or not, people who are well-to-do or not. But let me say this, in the group that I'm going to speak of today, which came out of the south side of Chicago, they had some really, really amazing responses. And I was just so pleased with everyone. And not because they were all just 100% positive, but 95% of the people said that they would support, do support, look to support, search out to support Black businesses. And with the landscape shaping so rapidly, so many people are opening Black businesses. In my neighborhood alone, I've seen 6 Black new restaurants open. Black owners are struggling to keep their businesses open, even with our support. And so I've gone to the restaurant that's right off the Dan Ryan at 71st Street, a beautiful breakfast spot, beautifully decorated, wonderful food, really piping hot, wonderful, great food and service. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Had nothing but great accolades for it. I've been to those that are like right here in Woodlawn, and they have beautiful service and wonderful, food and what have you, but really having a hard time. I'm just speaking from the restaurant perspective, right? But then I also have gone into one of the things, and I'll say before I say going into, every time there's a festival and we host something in our neighborhoods, I always put aside $100 to go and spend and support the vendors. Nothing more. And I'll walk around. Now, if one vendor captures my attention and earns that dollar, I will give the whole 100 to that person, not because I love to just spend on myself, but because they have earned that money. And I think that's what it's about. Really, we want to talk about how do we earn the respect and the favor of customers? How do we improve our services? How do we scale our businesses? How do we improve the employees that we have that are in our businesses so that when they greet and meet those that are there, those who come in, that they feel they want to return and continue to build in supporting and supplying what they need as customers. How do you gain customer loyalty? So while I sent this out to a variety of groups, I discovered within one group in the particular that they had many things to say to help us all to explore and how Black business owners are faring. According to this post, around 95% of those people who responded said, yes, they do, but they were not without comments sharing their concerns about some dismay about the state of Black businesses, concerns about location, services, untrained staff, affordability, consistency, appointments, and deposits for services that Normally you could just walk in and now you have to make an appointment, and then they don't want to give you a refund on the deposit for the appointment. And oftentimes some of the people who provide the services come late. I've heard a variety of things in this year. I had no idea that this was such a hot subject, that so many people were concerned about how they were spending their money with Black businesses while they are still maintaining they will continue to support them. They talk about the attitudes of those that are there. What are some of the things that you think, and can you share please in your comments, what are some of the things that you think that are hindering Black businesses from growing? And we're not just going to talk about the lack of having money. Let's talk about it from an overall perspective, because we all know that most of us start our mom and pop shops with $500 or no dollars. Now we know Jet Magazine was started with $500, but back then $500 was like about $5,000. And even that would not be enough. And we know that we're on shoestring budgets, and that there's a great number of young people as well who are coming into providing new businesses for us. And these young people are college educated, and in some cases they're just off the cuff saying, hey, I just want to work for myself. So we want to continue to, one, support people who are coming into business, struggling, trying to find a way. What can we do to help them to continue? There's something that I was thinking about, and I want to know what you're thinking about it. So can we explore some of that today? Let me see, I got a comment coming here. Hopefully it's regarding that. Oh, thank you, Naima. Loving that opening song. That's my small business. My small business is writing music, doing community events, exploring relationships with people, and helping to find places to. This coffee break was put together on the premise of I had met so many people, and I felt they all needed to and deserved to be presented to public so more people would know about them. I didn't want to feel like I was the only person that knew them. And in some cases, we know some of those people, but we don't really take enough time to figure out how to support businesses to keep them running. So we need to talk about that today, and I need your feedback on this. So what do you think? Have you gone to make appointments at hair salons lately? Have you gone to make appointments at nail salons lately? Have you gone to make appointments at barbershops lately, and they require an appointment and a deposit? What was that like? Because people are saying they did it, and it didn't work out. They said that they did it and didn't work out. Now, I'll be honest with you. I stopped going to get my nails done at the shops that we know are local in our neighborhoods and have made quite a bit of money because of the same thing that we're saying about Black businesses. And after years and years and years of going into those shops and having my mani-pedi, leaving out $100 shy from tips and services, I said to myself, I've had it, that's enough. And when I felt like I'm spending 2-3 hours for a service in a business, that when I went into the shop and asked the owner, would they support me by buying tickets to concerts that I was promoting and producing, they told me, oh no, I don't listen to that kind of music. I said to myself, they don't listen to my kind of music, and I don't even understand how you can say no to someone who comes in and has been coming to your business for like 2-3 years and keeping your doors open, that you can't buy one ticket. So you know what? After several experiences, I just decided, hey, I've paid everybody else enough. I'm going to just go home and start learning all over again how to do my own nails, do my own hair, do my own whatever it is, just to be on top of everything and not feel the disappointment because there weren't Black-owned shops that I could go to and pivot to. And it was a big deal to me. So I know I'm saying something that's got to be tempering and touching somebody from, that's here. And I see you in the room. And I would really like some feedback on this. But I'm going to go back into my notes and I'm going to share with you some of the things they said. They said that a variety of people spoke of new ways of how we might look at continuing to support Black-owned businesses, as well as how far they may go to support them and to keep them up and running. And one said, are you currently aware that only 3% of American businesses make decisions that drive decisions about the influence and the direction of the economy in America, and that none of the only 3% that exist are Black? Do I need to say that again? Only 3% of businesses in America make decisions that drive decisions that influence the direction of the economy in America, and that not 1%, not a percentage of the 3%, an iota, is Black. Yeah, let that sink in. Let that sink in. So with that being the case, let's talk about how do we improve Black businesses. Well, when we were coming up, the first things that we learned about how to engage with people, it was with manners, how we spoke to them, how we received them, how we introduced ourselves. In business, those are some of the most important tenets of what happens when you get into a business. You want to meet someone at the door who makes you feel welcome. And that was one of the number one failing problems that exist in new small businesses that are Black. And should we be critical to Black businesses as much as we know we need them? I think we should. Whatever happened to the suggestion box? I say put suggestion boxes in your businesses and let's see how your customers feel. Are you arguing with your customers? That's another thing. So you're arguing with your customers, and the customer always right, or does the customer deserve respect? And how do you gain your respect from the customer? So I walk into a store, not me, this is hypothetically. We walk into a store and we are introduced. I remember Pier 1 was one of the first stores I ever went into. I used to go all the way south to Pier 1. You go north to Pier 1. None are in our neighborhoods. And the first thing they did when they greeted you when you came in the door, hi, welcome to Pier 1. I'm like, oh, I'm in Pier 1. They made me feel good. They made me feel good. I felt like welcome. And I looked around the store and smelled the store and everything was beautiful and the people were engaging. And I kept going back for the sensory perception of what was happening to me during the sales. And I spent a lot of money there. I did, on things that I didn't even need. I got into candles at Pier 1. I sure did. I sure did. I sure did. I got into candles at Pier 1. And then there's this thing about when you're engaged at the counter, right? What's happening with you at the counter when it's time for you to spend your money? Today, the economy is just messy. My daughter decided she wanted to take me out to get something to eat because I don't eat out a lot. I just refuse to eat out because it's just been crazy, especially since COVID. I just started cooking at home all the time. So we go out and I'm always telling her, save your money. Don't use your money on this. Don't use your money on that. And she decides, no, Mom, we're going to go and get something to eat. So she wanted to have some fish because she's going on this here pescatarian diet. So we go into a place, I won't say the names of the business right now, and we go in and we smell the food and it smells great and it's exciting and we order it. And when she says the price, it goes from 2 items being $13 a piece to the bill being $46. Sticker shock. I was blown away. In fact, I was so blown away. I told the young lady, wait a minute, don't add that up. Don't how are you adding that up? What are you doing? What is the percentage? What's the interest rate on that? And she went, oh, I'm putting it on there. I said, I know you put it on there, but what is give me the total cost of the product first before you tell me what the tax was. And she stopped and she looked stunned. And I realized I was being a little bit, aggressive in the way I was, because I was so shocked. So I stepped back. My daughter looked at me and I looked at her and I said, okay, let me rephrase this. I said, I know you don't understand what I'm asking. I said, I'm trying to understand, what's the cost of the food? First of all, can we walk through that again? Well, long story short, let me just say this. I had to leave the store and go sit in the car and let my daughter finish because she wanted to handle this and she wanted to make sure that we had the product. When she came and got back in the car, I of course Googled, what are the state taxes in Illinois? And are you allowed to put taxes on every item and include a total tax at the end? And it said yes, as long as it doesn't exceed the amount of tax that is for the state it's in and for the business. I'm like, and what is that? 11.4%. So they literally can go from 3%, 3 point something percent to 11 point something. And I'm thinking, no way. Look, just no way that can be true, but it's true. So when she got back in the store, I felt badly and I wanted to apologize to the young lady. But I realized that it was a moment when I still needed to calm down. And of course I said, I'm going to go back and apologize to her because it's not her fault, but I'm sure that everybody is having sticker shock. So attitudes are going to go wild. This is a crazy economy. I paid $6 for a gallon of gas yesterday. Car won't take anything but premium. $6. Nobody at the pump where you can get up and get mad at them. You can't throw the doggone pump down on the ground. What are you going to do? We're in trying times. Black businesses are trying to open and operate during the hardest times that we have to open businesses. Some people are being successful. Why are they being successful? Naima says, has anybody ever felt like they were treated badly in a store because of the way they were dressed? Maybe casually dressed in sweatpants and a t-shirt? Well, I don't know. I've never had that experience. I think that most people that I hear say that they are treated a certain way is not just because of how they dress, but oftentimes because of their color or their age, and sometimes even their gender. But yeah, I think that you can go in a restaurant and have a bad experience. If you go into certain restaurants and you're not dressed well, they kind of shun you. They want their customers to come in and have smell fresh, look good. And so, you have to shy away from certain restaurants if you're not dressed in a certain kind of manner. As far as any stores or anything, I don't know. Anybody got some feedback on that? They can come in. Maybe because I feel like I haven't had the experience, I don't know how to respond, but I'm certain someone's had the experience. Naima, thank you for asking that. Yeah. So just back to the conversation, or it's not a conversation until more of you chime in, but we're going to go to that. Now, I'm going to go back to where I was with the hair salons and the nail salons that are Black owned, that are asking for a deposit. I said, what? A deposit? So who's going to Black salons and having to put down deposits? And so the problem is that the young lady said, while she wouldn't mind doing the deposit, as long as it assured her that her service would be on time and that she had great service, which she did not have. And they still kept the deposit. So she says she's not for having deposits on appointments that sometimes even the person providing the service is coming late, not giving or providing good service, and overcharge for the prices. So here we are back to the cost for prices. What is the price that you pay for your services? Come on, folks, talk to me. Good day, Abantu. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. We're here talking about the economy. We're here talking about Black economy. The Black economy. 3% of businesses, 3% of people in business in this economy in America are decision makers that influence what happens and drives the economy in America, and not 1%, not a percentage of the percentage is Black. And now we're discussing, do you support Black businesses? And if you do, what are your thoughts about it? If you don't, why have people put out of places even if they had money to pay just because of the way they looked and smelled? Sure, I can see that though, but let me just say this. While I believe that it's important for us to honor those who are homeless or don't have a place to stay, or are not well and have certain smells, I can kind of understand that the effect that a smell and a look can have on the customers in the store who are waiting in line for food and having to feel some aggravation about the sensory perception of how it smells. Not that people don't want to see homeless, the unhoused. I'm going to say unhoused because I've been trained to say that now. I've been taught that by our dear sister Zelda. The unhoused don't oftentimes have washrooms and places they can go to. So I think that there's some things that we have to do. They have I think in New York, they had like washrooms that they created, shower places people could go to who were unhoused and could get cleaned up. And so we have to think about how do we protect customers as well as honor and respect customers. I think that's a good question to address in that way. We have to find ways around how we deal with all kinds of situations. Unhoused people are not always the ones who come in and smell bad. There are people who just don't smell good and who don't brush their teeth and don't wear good clothing, and they're not poor. I mean, we're dealing with situations that are about hygiene and socialization. A lot of what I'm speaking about is about socialization. The socialization of people when we come out and we have to endeavor new neighborhoods. Now that gets me to this. People also talked about location, like how far it was and how far they had to drive. That was another thing. Supporting a Black business because it was too far. So they looked for other small Black businesses or Black businesses and couldn't find them. So they're forced back into the spaces to get supplies or food or things that they need from others. But I think the biggest part was, again, cost. I'm going to keep going back to cost. People are like, it's just cost too much. And I think the second biggest thing was attitude. They didn't like the attitude of some people. And I think, and I know this because in my former marriage, we owned franchises, Popeye franchises. And let me tell you something. The training was top shelf. 3 months for operational management license. And we had to learn from the rooter to the tutor, everything front to back, up and down, you name it. But the number one thing on the list when we got in there was our staff. One, maintaining a staff, training that staff, losing that staff to other people who wanted trained staff who stole, people who came into the store and complained about how someone said something to them at the counter. I mean, we have a lot of problems to deal with. It's not always about color, but it is in this situation. We're talking about, do you support Black businesses? And a great percentage said that training is not in place. We've got to train our staff. We have to treat everybody with the same kind of principles in order to meet and be competitive as a business. We cannot expect to have a business and you got your niece at the door and she's got an attitude and she doesn't want to be bothered with anybody and she doesn't want to do anything and she wish she wasn't there that day. But you have somebody there just because you need somebody in the store, or you have someone answering the phone and they don't know how to speak to people, or they don't really even understand what the business is and can't discuss or share with you things that you need to know. Small businesses are hurting, black or white, and these are the things that are lacking. I remember there was a time when it was all about that. And as a Popeye franchise owner, former franchise owner, that was the number one thing. When people came in that store, and we had people come in and say and do some ridiculous stuff. Homeless people were one of the things that we dealt with, especially at night when it was time to close. What do you do with people who have nowhere to go and they're in your business? That was a part of learning and understanding how to deal with the social aspects of your business and about humanity. We got a long way to go, folks. We're not going to get there fast. Everybody's not going to get grants and money from people. We're not. So how do you keep your business up and running and sustainable? How do you take the $500 that you invested in your business and turn it into a profit earning business and earning customer loyalty? So just think about it like this. If you should have a business and you had 10 loyal customers who came to your store all the time, and they came because every time they came, they just loved your smile and the way you were sweating and trying to keep the doors open, and that even though some of your prices were a little high, they were happy to come in and support you. Wouldn't that fill your cup? Doesn't that make sense? Doesn't that make sense? And that person oftentimes hasn't earned money. I'm gonna go back to my story. We got 15% at the end of the year for all the sales that we did. 15%, which meant my check every month was about maybe 15% more than the people we paid. And those first few years were hard, but we stayed with it. And it was a family-owned business. The father and mother had been in it already well before I married the son. And we worked our butts off. There were days I went home smelling like more Popeyes. I smelled like flour and chicken. My feet were hurt, my legs hurt, and we smiled and we muscled through it. And when you really want to have a great business, and Naima knows this quite well because she's really one of the hardest persons. She works long hours. This sister who owns Female Solution founded this and has this here presence for us. Look, let me tell you something. When I say she gets up earlier than most of us, and she probably doesn't go to bed for 2-3 days, she's trying to build an empire. And her attitude never fails her. Never fails her. Attitude, attitude, attitude. Good morning, Cherie. Thank you for showing up. We're in here talking about Black-owned businesses and what we have to do to improve them and gain customer loyalty. We're here talking about what are your concerns as you have gone and entered into businesses, and do you support them, and will you continue? Many people say they'll continue to support them even though they have the hiccups because it takes a while for things to get right. But how long can that take, and how long will you gain that kind of customer loyalty? Sherry Lynn Smith says, I was afraid of the ginormous task of hanging out a shingle. AI kept my catering business very close to the bone. Yeah, that's it. And we do need to talk about the fact that AI is now the new attendant. In fact, I was with my daughter in the car and we were driving and we saw what looked like an ice cream stand. You remember the old ice cream stands? You used to push them and the kids run up to them and you get a lollipop out of it or something like, the ice cream pop. Well, yeah, it was a robot. And it just sat there. And all you had to do was choose what you wanted. It opened up and gave it to you after you deposited your credit card into it and paid it. So it's taking away jobs and it's providing service that's no contest. Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? Naima Latif, she said she said you better talk to her. She's at Naima Latif 6915. You know what to do. Hit her up. Hit her up. She's also stating that people don't realize that if the store is charging lower prices, they are paying staff less money, which means the staff may have a resentful attitude. True and true. Most of the time, even if the store is charging more, doesn't mean they're paying their staff more money, because charging more doesn't mean that what they paid to have a business is less. And the first thing about having a business is learning and understanding the business that you're going into. You need training. You need help. You need financial help. You should get advice. There are financial people who can give you advice and teach you how to run your business. As I said before, when I went into business with my former husband, I had to stay in Atlanta for 90 days training to get an operational management license. We were there all day. I had more chicken and did more. Look, there were more ways to fry a chicken and to make a meal and to do the things that you do. So you can still charge a lot and not make a lot of money. You could charge less and gain more customer loyalty, and over time build and create something. You just have to find different ways to have lower price items, things that are convenient for people. You learn. What's that over-the-counter sale that's going to keep your business running? For Popeyes, it was French fries and pop. Most restaurants operate on the small items that they sell, not the big ones. JJ says, I am a supporter of Black business, but I've noticed that some of them are not affordable, especially when it comes to restaurants. Don't get me wrong, I believe in paying for good food from established restaurants, but I feel like a lot of Black-owned restaurants that are starting out are only catering to people that can afford $50 for a meal. But I understand that food is very expensive these days. So I'll say to this again, the cost for food, when we go to the supermarket, here we go. Go to the supermarket with, say, $300. You know what you're coming out with. 15, 16 items. And you might get a sale, 10 things for this, for that. But no, you're not getting any money. It's not happening like that. You're not getting anything for your money. You're just not getting anything for your money. So let me say that I've seen a lot of people partying this year. A lot of people are in the parks partying. You know what we're doing. And in all that partying, let me be real clear. In all the partying that's going on, what you don't see are people complaining about the money they spending on alcohol, smoking weed. Let's keep it clear. The clothes they wearing. Even if they're in a reprieve and they're not really shopping the way they used to and stuff. They say put your money where your mouth is. We can look at that in various ways. How can we do that? Maybe we need to understand that in supporting Black businesses, what we're doing is we're building a new economy, and that we may refrain from doing other things in order to continue to support them. And they may cost more, but they're not costing more than any other ethnic groups cost for business. Go to McDonald's lately? Another place my daughter took me to. She said, I want some McDonald's. I said, like, baby, I don't even eat McDonald's. Well, guess what? Fries were $3. I said, how much? $3? I'm like, talking about the dollar fries? Whatever happened to the $5 menu? You know what it was when she finished with her purchase, it was $30 at the window. And I got a small sandwich and I didn't want that. So JJ, we got some homework to do. We need to understand this economy is crashing and we're under it. And the only way we're going to survive is that we figure this stuff out. We've got to sort it out. We've got to figure it out. We've got to make it make sense. CENTS or MONEY or hard cash dollars. And we've got to work together collectively. And we've got to come up with answers. And this forum and other forums need to be had for us to discuss how we're going to move forward. And we're talking about having a new and better world. What are we doing to create a new and better world? Really? How do we do that? How do we get to a new and better world? And they say that money is the reason, or say people who are more involved in just money, money, money are people who oftentimes are led astray. So how do we get balance with that? I'm going to make sure I bring people back into the room who do just these things. Financial advisors, people who work in talking about the economy, what's happening in America. Not from a political place, but from what's going on. Because once this election is over, no matter what happens, we still have to deal with this. And maybe we should get used to just going to the beaches and parks, because that's pretty much what all we're going to be able to afford. And maybe we'll get back to having picnic baskets, because you know what? We're not going to be able to afford to eat out. And a lot of the things that we're looking at now, we call it convenient, are not going to be convenient. It's not convenient to go to the pump and pay $6 a gallon for gas. It's not convenient when you can't pay your car note off because the interest rate is higher than the damn money that you paid for the car. And so your car now is going to take you 7 years to pay for instead of 5, or 9 to 10 years to pay for. Got a lot of work to do. I'm going to take a break and give everybody a chance to think about what I said, because I think it's important to get some more feedback. I would love to hear from you and what your thoughts are. How can we save small businesses? Other than just going in and shopping once a week here and there, small things, little things, how can we do it? I think probably the answer that I'll share is probably something you've thought of already, but let's get there. Let's find out what we can do. I'll be right back. We'll take a short break, give you an opportunity to meet some of the people right here at the Female Solution in some short spurts of commercials that are about their broadcast, and hopefully you'll support them. And while you're talking about support, make sure you tell others, if you haven't done it already, to subscribe to Coffee Break Live with Senabella, the Female Solution, here at StreamYard. That's right. Subscribe. Help those who help you. Help support us as well. I'll be right back.
Have you seen all the solar farms popping up everywhere? You know, the big fields with the solar panels. There's one in our community. They produce electricity using the clean energy of the sun to send to the power grid to reduce our energy costs. Because not everybody can get solar panels put on their roof the way I have, but everybody can enroll for free to share the energy produced by the solar farms. That's why they were built. You know you're supposed to be getting a 10 to 20% savings on your bill for that, right? Illinois has a goal to transition by 2050 to 100% clean energy. So everybody needs to be connected. People in other communities are already getting their savings. So I'll be by to see you, because they want to make sure you get your savings as well. It just takes a few minutes. I'm Naima Latif. Call me if you have any questions. 312-849-3456.
Leaders of nonprofits empowering worlds. Let's go.
But the vision that God gave me, I felt that it was time for me to step out and work on the vision that God gave me.
we need look no further. We have a unique voice. We have a unique talent pool.
See, we need everything in just this short spurt. Okay, frozen. I didn't know if you could hear me or not, but you know, this is the internet. Hey, internet. Let me tell you something. They said that recently Chris Brown and Usher did a concert, and I saw a picture online, and someone put, if this many people went to vote that went to this concert, then we could transform and change the world if people came out like they did for the concert. How did they afford that? The tickets were $400. So what's really going on? Personally, I love me some Chris Brown. That young man can sing and dance, but I don't know if I would have paid $400 for him, not at this time. But maybe we start thinking about it. $400 might be the norm for what we have to pay to go to concerts. What are you going to do when you want to go out and you have to have $1,000 just to go out? What are we saving? Now, I know we're talking about all kinds of things today. You've got Bitcoin, right? You've got the American dollar that's crash, isn't crash and burn. We have so many types of things going on that are making us have to make, just causing us to have to make a choice. How can we save our money? Where do we save it at? Where do we save it? How do we save it? What do we do with it? What are we planning for it if we can't save it? Are we back to, are people making budgets? When we go into the stores, how do we engage with the new Black business owners? Do we let them know that there are things failing and that you're uncomfortable when you're there? Are you sharing with them the problems that you see, or are you just complaining? Yeah. Are you saying, hey, look, I would love to come and eat at your restaurant, JJ Wright, but I can't afford your food? Are you going to have something on the menu that's a lower price item that I would love to come back and to buy? I want to see you here. I want to be able to walk out my door and come to your restaurant. Yeah. I want to pull up at the window because I like to see little Sarita at the window working her first job at the restaurant. Most of us started at McDonald's, right? Intensive training. Knowing about money. Do you know most of our children today don't even use directions to go places? So if they go somewhere, they count on the Uber driver, the bus driver, but they don't know north, south, east, and west. And I'm speaking all children. We got a lot of things going on. A whole lot of things. How many people are experiencing with their children or their grandchildren this sort of lack of knowledge about things that we just kind of knew? I remember when we were young, our mother put us on the bus to go downtown so we know how to get around. And it was 14 of us. And she put the money in our hand. We get on the bus and we go downtown and we come back. And if we got lost, we walked around and we found our way back home. My mother was teaching us about money, transportation, using ourselves, critical thinking, how to work together. That's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. How do we work together? How do we make this thing happen so it keeps on happening? How do we feed these children? Not just food, but sustenance for life. These are the things we need to be asking ourselves. These are the things that we need to address. These are the things that are important. And this is how we're going to go forward. And this is how we're going to make it. We're either going to fail or we're going to rise. We can't rise just because we feel good. Oh, I feel good, so I'm rising to the top. No. It's not that simple. Steady, consistent, carefully planning, caring about, you know, when you fall, you get back up, or you stabilize yourself, you do something. You do something. And we could do it together. We could do it collectively. We can do it together. We could do it collectively. So Naima, Zelda, all the sisters and all the brothers that are here at Female Solution, I challenge us all to come together to create a forum where we can talk about how we can go about changing and transforming these things that are happening, provide some vision, some instruction, some education, and people who can guide Black businesses. So I'm going to start with mine coming in September. I really will. Abantu Price says, I'm a supporter of Black businesses and hold them accountable for basic standards, qualified staff, reasonable prices, cleanliness, timeliness, etc. I, in turn, intend to be a respectful patron. Opening a business without a business plan and expecting consistent profits may work against them. My dream is that communal values will return. Amen. 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 That's what is up. That's what I'm saying. Well said, Abantu. Abantu. Well said. Well said. So glad you're here to make a comment in that regard. Thank you. And that's what I was saying. About 95% of the people were saying in total what Abantu just said. It's important for us to know that just because things don't feel right and seem right and aren't right doesn't mean we can't get it right. It doesn't mean that that person's investment is not worthwhile. And it doesn't mean that that's what you're going to experience all the time. But if in fact you find yourself, we need to have other places you can pivot to. And we need to figure out how to help that person become more sustainable by saying to them, hey, here's some of the problems. I don't know if you're going to address it or not, but if you should, here's some people and here's an organization or a place you can go. It's going to do more than give you money to keep you open. And I'll say this, a lot of people getting grants, they're messed up from the grant money because they have not used it well. I see people with grant money going shopping, going on trips, having names and looking like they're all smart and wonderful. And at the end of the day, when the grant money is gone, so is the service that we're supposed to be getting. This is all tax money. Everything is talking about taxes, tax money. I'm not saying we don't deserve grants and we don't deserve to have lower taxes and lower prices. I'm saying, what if none of this exists anymore? Because that's what it looks like it's coming to. What if none of this exists anymore? Then what's going to happen? What's going to happen? How are we going to get to that? How are we going to get to that? Well, it's been really a changing hour. I know most of us came here hoping to see Miss Olivia Franklin. I pray that we have her here soon. I'm certain that she's not just abandoned and forgotten about it and that something has gone awry. She's a wonderful young lady and I continue to support her. I met her with Pearl Ramsey at the Garden on the south side of Chicago, where she was presenting young people. And all of these young people were hopefuls of doing something in creative arts in the future, and they were absolutely wonderful. And she herself young and did an amazing job taking something and taking nothing and turning it into something. Although she's a licensed social worker, she's still looking for ways to support. And so I'll say to each and every one of you, as well as I say of myself, we have to try harder. We can't just talk about it. We can't just be visionaries. We have to make these things come true, and we have to work together. I say yes, some churches for town halls, some of these meeting places, and let's go grab some of these people who seem to have a lot of time just chilling and hanging out and find out what they're doing and how what do we want our future to look like? What does it look like? What does it look like? How do we get there? How do we get there? We can't all just go to the presidential center. We can't. Let's just call it for what it is. Some of us won't go because we can't afford it. That's not a negative to the Presidential Center. But at the end of the day, it's not the only place that we have to support. These are not the only people that we should be supporting. Yes, respectfully. Yes, yes, yes. But all I'm saying is that we've got to do better. We've got to do better. We just got to do better. We got to support the little churches that are out here. We've got to support the small businesses that are out here. We've got to support these fathers and these mothers that are out here. We've got to find a way to govern ourselves from a place of humanity and put our perspectives in check, put our feelings away, and start dealing with things so that we don't see the loss of all the hard work that we put in just to get to where we are. And if money is the issue, then we got to deal with the money. But I think it's what we are internally that we have to deal with first. And I think if we can deal with who we are internally, we will find ways to fill the gap, to walk up to people and say, hey, do you have a moment? I'd like to share with you what my experience was in your business today. And I hope you don't mind, because I really want to come back and support you. But I have an issue that I need to discuss with you. And I don't want to just leave here and talk about it. That's like gossip, to leave somewhere and not share with them, but gossip and tell other people about it and keep them from coming and having an experience. That shop that I told you about earlier when I first opened today, talking about my experience in going into getting my nails done and getting in the shop that day, getting my nails, paid the $100 for my, for the two services, which is much more now. Look, I went back and I spoke to her and I asked her, I said, this is what my nails look like. These were supposed to last for 3-4 days. It's been a day. And it was off and it was over the weekend. So I was like this all weekend. It was for a weekend event. And she pushed me off and she told me to sit in this chair. She was going to have somebody else do my nails. I said, no, but you did my nails. I would like for you to, do this recovery. And she refused to do it. And then she was very rude to me in the business. And in the chairs were a lot of women like me. And I looked over at them and I said, and this is what we're getting for our money. And because I had experienced it several times and I had taken up the effort to talk to everybody, yeah, I decided to go home and do my own damn nails. Abantu, Senabella, that's a great point. Operate as if grant money isn't there. Absolutely. All of my mentors told me, Senabella, if you're taking grant money, you're not going to grow. You're going to get used to the grant money. And then when you don't have it, you won't be able to do what you do. You got to figure something else out. And I've been grinding for a long time on my own without grant money. A long time before I start getting help. And even then, when I wasn't being paid, I was paying other people when I was doing a lot of shows, putting on a lot of shows, a lot of the productions. I paid everybody but me, trying to make sure we got those people out there and stuff. And I'm not saying that I'm proud about that. I didn't do my business right. But once I learned how to do it better and how to pay myself as well as others, get people who want to band together and work and struggle and sweat with me, then things start getting better. Did you hear that? So that's the message of the day. Let's learn how to band together, struggle and sweat and build together, sacrifice something together, and recognize that each and every one of us is important to the other. That we can't do everything based upon color, gender, location, economy. We can't. We have to say to ourselves, we're going to live in this new world and we're going to do better. We're going to do better. We're going to talk about it and we're going to do something about it. And you can be sure if your child comes into my presence that I'm going to care about that child. I don't care what age they are. And I'm going to make sure when they walk away, they have some expression from their heart about what I've said and how I have intended to make sure that they have self-respect, self-regard, and a definition of how to engage with people after they've left my presence. Well, at the end of this hour, it's been wonderful being here. I look forward to seeing again you next Friday. We have a wonderful sister who will be on the show, phenomenal woman by the name of Dr. Mary Swopes. a visionary who's done everything that I've talked about here. And for the last 50 years have served so many people, trained so many children, did so many things. So she'll be here next Friday. We'll be talking about that. I'll make sure you have it. It'll be out. Thank you for coming here to Coffee Break Live with Senabella. I love my music playing because I love being able to be present, fully present here with you. Started it here, gonna do it here. We're gonna make this happen. You all have a great day. Thank you so much. Oh, right here, JJ says there are a lot of apps for Black businesses that are out here. Miria, I have that. Black Business Finder, don't have that. BLAP, didn't know about it, just to name a few. So let's put that in the comments so other people can see it and hear it. You all have a wonderful day. God bless you all. I love you all to life. It is time for us to say our goodbyes, but not before we hear a few things so we get out of here. Remember, support this business. Like things, comment things, share things. This is part of building the economy. And I'll come and build with you. You let me know how I can get in with you. Let me know what I need to do. JJ, I ain't forgot about you. You know where we going. It's all gonna be gravy. All right. Have a good.
We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network called 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
I wanna wake up feeling beautiful. I wanna wake up with the sunlight in my eyes and your arms surrounding me. I wanna wake up feeling beautiful. That's how I wanna be.